So, I wanted to bring this to you. Yesterday, I brought a video to y'all talking about how Kennedy and Secretary Wright of Department of Energy were talking about the waste, fraud, and abuse that went on at the Department of Energy in the last 76 days, in which over $90 billion went out the door to people that shouldn't have gotten the money in loans. So, now you've got Senator John Kennedy speaking with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Now, this is after RFK Jr. has had to deal with morons of the left in this hearing. I've heard some of the conversations that he had to put up with from these idiots, and that's what they are. They're idiots. Oh, but they're bringing the truth. No, they're not. They're spreading lies and expecting him to agree with them about their lies. Well, Robert Kennedy walked away from the lies and he's trying to actually make a change for our health care. You know, what he's supposed to be doing. So let's hear this exchange between Senator John Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Senator Kennedy.
Mr. Secretary, how many employees were there at HHS when you took over?
82,000,
How many do you have today?
62,000.
Okay.
It's about the level it was in 2019, right before COVID.
Is this the first time that an institution in America has ever downsized?
I don't think so. I think private and public institutions have historically.
Microsoft just announced that they were going to reduce their workforce by 6,000 people. You think that'll be the end of Microsoft?
Senator, we wouldn't have reduced anybody.
You think that'll be the end of Microsoft?
I don't think so, Senator.
Meta, I still call them Facebook, just announced they're going to reduce their workforce by 3,000 people. You think that'll be the end of Meta?
I imagine it will not.
Yeah. Think maybe the people at Meta know what they're doing?
I think that they do. They make a lot of money, Senator.
Do you hate NIH?
I love NIH. I grew up with NIH. I visited when I was a boy. I love science, and those were my favorite afternoons, visiting the labs at NIH.
Do you hate medical research?
No, I think we need to lead the world in medical research in this country.
In fact, isn't it true, Mr. Secretary, that you would like to see more money spent on medical research?
Obviously, I'm the secretary of this department. No secretary wants to see his budget cut.
Well, one way of doing that, it seems to me, would be to stop some of the stealing. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Let's suppose you give NIH gives a university $100 million to research, for medical research, to research a cure. And that university takes $30 million of it, doesn't spend it on the research. They use it to subsidize the rest of their university. Does that show a commitment to medical research?
No, and I mentioned before the example of Stanford, which was taking 78% in indirect costs, and we don't know what they were spending.
That's theft, isn't it?
It's not a good
in
way to
Louisiana,
spend
we call
federal
that stealing.
taxpayer dollars.
We call that stealing. Is there any doubt in your mind that a lot of universities are taking this NIH money, which is supposed to be spent on medical research, and using it to fund other parts of their university. Is there any doubt in your mind, Bobby?
Oh, and Senator, the other people who are writing grants, like the Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, they paid 10% to 15% in indirect costs. We were paying 50, 60, 70%.
So, in fact, what you're doing is adding money to medical research.
We will be able to fund many, many, many more studies by eliminating that $9 billion, at least part of that $9 billion cost.
Okay. I want to ask you about LAHEAP. Are you familiar with this GAO report they did on LAHEAP? LAHEAP?
I am not, Senator.
They found, they audited 7 states. They found 11,000 dead people getting LAHEAP grants. You familiar with that?
No, but that is pretty typical of many of the other programs that we're working with.
They found prisoners getting grants, didn't they? Were they using the grants to heat their jail cell? They found 1,000 federal employees getting the grants with federal salaries that greatly exceeded the income limits. They found some of those folks living in $1 million homes. I got 18 seconds. Why do we allow highly processed foods in America?
That's a complicated question, but it's driven by profits, but to a food industry that is making money by poisoning American kids, and they don't do it abroad. They make the same products for Canada and for Europe that do not contain many of those chemicals.
You understand, Mr. Secretary, there's nothing you can do that's going to make many of my Democratic colleagues happy. You get that, don't you?
I do understand. I'm coming to understand that, Senator.
Yes. Thank you.
Senator Murray, welcome. Nice to see you, and I'll turn it over to you for questions.
Thank you very much, Chair Capito, Senator Baldwin. I look forward to working with you both again.
It is about time that we have people that are actually looking to get rid of this waste of money. And the sad part is, at this point, it's pretty much been proven that Biden had no say in any of this. He didn't know what the heck was going on. His family had him in there so that they could get protected. His family had him in there so they could have a way to make themselves look good, be in the spotlight, because you don't know what Joe Biden's going to do when Joe Biden passes away. Hunter Biden needed him in there to protect him from all the legal ramifications of all the crimes that he committed. This is what went on in that White House. So while that garbage is going on, you've got billions of dollars of taxpayer dollars going out the door in these agencies that are being wasted. And it keeps getting put out there, but the left, they're giving you this idiotic bit of propaganda on their channels. Well, unfortunately, it's people my mother's age, my uncle's age, that are listening to this garbage, or they're listening to Hassan Piker, or they're listening to the wrong people. They're not listening to the truth, and the Democrats know this, so they're keeping this up of keeping these lies going. What you just heard from Senator Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy, hey, this is what the truth is. This money has been wasted for a long time. Everybody's known it. It's been talked about by both parties for as long as I've been alive. I've been alive for 5 decades, and I know it was being talked about before I was alive. So somebody's actually doing something about it, and the Democrats are fighting somebody actually trying to do something about all this waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay, whatever. You got a Democrat that's actually trying to make the change. And he's trying to do it in a good way to help people. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.